What's up guys, Pop101 here. Today I'm going to be giving you a modder's perspective on the U12 roadmap. So let's get started. So if we head over to the roadmap, we're just going to look through all the cool features that are going to be added to U12. So for me personally, I think physics-based swimming is actually really cool. The fact that we'll be able to use our arms, our legs, if we have any of the additional equipment that we can attach to our legs or feet, that will hopefully allow us to kick around. Now, I don't know if that's something that they plan on doing with the feet, but I really hope they do, because that'd make it so much better in VR. Plus, I mean, just moving with your arms, it's still really cool. Better than just moving in either the direction your head is going or just with the D-pad. But honestly, I never really used swimming as is. I mean, it's cool and all, but unless we're fighting enemies down here, which hopefully that's a thing that will happen in the future, I don't really see myself using it all that often, except, chucking enemies into the water because that's always fun. But, it is still very cool. This other feature that I really do like is being able to use things in the water, such as oars and other things to propel yourself. And I wonder if, you hit the ground too, it'll knock you away. But just using it to move yourself in the water like you're actually swimming or you have an actual object, it's really, really cool. And this other thing that they're adding to it, the drag area, so a new component for modders, I think that's going to be very, very cool. Especially if we get some maps that are going to be now fully submerged underwater, which if nobody else makes one and Warp Frog doesn't decide to make one natively for the game, I'll be making one myself, because honestly, this is really cool. The fact that we can manipulate water with our own weapons and objects, and the fact that it's only a new component, all we have to do is click add component and just drag it in, and we can most likely customize everything too. So honestly, it's really, really cool. So for a feature that I don't necessarily use all that much now, but hopefully in the future I'll be using it a lot more because there's a lot more things we can do with it. Now, one that I also wasn't expecting, but that I'm really excited about is breakables. So if we take a look at this chair right here, I'll zoom in for you. Notice we break the chair, it gets split into all these little splintery pieces. That's great. But one thing from a modder's perspective, which I actually find a little bit difficult, is the fact that we can break it, but we're still holding on to the pieces. Now, if I was the one making this, I would break it and spawn all the little pieces right where the position of the chair used to be. But the fact that we can still grab onto it and still be holding these pieces just takes it to another level, which I'm super excited about. Because if we can incorporate this into some kind of framework for the modders, I can only imagine all the cool stuff that's going to happen. Although I do know weapons and items in the past have been made to break, but not on this scale at all. One thing that I find really cool too is this new music system, because, I don't know, getting into the dungeons and fighting, yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a whole lot of different places we can fight, but at the same time, the music kind of gets a little bit boring for me, especially because I like a more medieval theme to my music than some of the ones that are in the dungeon. So the fact that we can add in our own custom-made music tracks, kind of like Beat Saber, I'm super excited. And yes, Baron, thank you for including this about YouTubers, because I know I absolutely hate when they give us the copyright claims. That's why I turned off all the music in Blade and Sorcery and then always add my own. Now, one feature that I'm obviously really interested in is the AI and the animation overhaul. Now, I know Bowtie's been working on the AI. I'm not exactly sure if Bowtie's doing the animations as well, but I mean, come on. Being able to do a shield bash, that is really cool. Even for somebody like myself who doesn't fight enemies that use shields, I always like the single and dual wielding weapons. Just makes things a bit easier and more fun for me, and better in some of the videos. It's also pretty cool that we're getting some of these new rooms with underwater sections. Now, I don't know if Baron purposefully took this picture to make it darker for you guys so you can't really see it, so I'll brighten this up in the video a little bit, but I don't know, it's really cool. I like the dungeon, and I love that it just randomly generates all these different rooms for us. Because for myself, I absolutely hate when we're playing in Blade and Sorcery or a game in general and it's super repetitive. So the random generating just makes things a ton better, and adding in the new rooms is just going to be a ton of fun too. And I'm also really looking forward to the Crystal Hunt. Now, I don't know a ton about it personally, but the fact that we get loot now and everything, it's going to be fantastic, just wait. And there should be some sections that we can swim underwater in the dungeon, which I'm kind of curious to see how well that's going to work based on performance, but I'm super excited, because hopefully with everything that they've done so far, I think it's going to be great. And I like that there's this little pocket too. Maybe we can swim from one section to another, then pop out onto land. I don't know. But I do know for a fact that moddable dungeons is a huge thing, and it's going to make a very large impact in the modding community and make maps a lot better than they are currently. Also, just a side note, if you guys are trying out 11.4, make sure to report any issues with the modding components. I know I have mentioned a couple of mine and talk to the team about it, but if you guys have any of yours, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And this is a big one. Now personally, I don't use Vortex, and I don't really feel the need of an in-game mod manager just because I'm so used to doing it manually now, but I think this is a really big step, especially when you compare it to Bone Lab, because Bone Lab has its own in-game mod manager where you can just add in mods like that. And I don't know, the fact that Blade and Sorcery is doing it now, it just really shows that Bone Lab has nothing over it, and I will continue to say that. Yeah, maybe the physics might be a little bit different, but Bone Lab really isn't it for me. And yes, you can still install your mods manually, which most likely I'll be doing, just because I'm so used to it and because I make the mods myself. But keep in mind, guys, they don't know if it'll be released for U12 yet. Just be patient. The fact that we know it's going to be made, that's good enough for me for now. And for you Nomad players, congratulations. Now, this moddable dungeon system, like I said before, it's going to be really, really cool. The fact that we're going to be able to make our own dungeons and maps and everything, I mean, it's going to be great. I really hate repetitive stuff in Blade and Sorcery and games in general, but this is just going to make it a ton better. And thank you for this, Baron. It's always funny to read your personal notes. It's nice. But we get our permission to go nuts on making as many of them as possible, so you better believe we definitely will. Now, personally, I haven't fiddled around with armor modding or adding in custom creatures using Meme Man's SDK yet for that, but I'm curious to see how well this will work. I know that it was a bit of a pain to do the armor and stuff, but without any of the issues that were coming from it, I really think that this is going to be great, especially with all the medieval armors and custom armors that everybody has already, and the stuff that people haven't put in yet because they're waiting for it to be easier. It's going to be awesome. And a big thing on scripting for Nomad, no difference. It's still not out yet, and it's still being worked on. Just remember, guys, it takes time, and they do want to prevent a disastrous release. They are working their absolute hardest to get it done, but just be patient. The fact that Baron and the community and developers have said that it's going to be added at some point means that it's going to be added, so just wait. Though I do know that it sucks a bit, the fact that we haven't had it yet. But don't worry, I'll be making my own mods for it whenever it does come around. And we can take a look at this little teaser right here, a brand new dungeon, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Maybe the Dalgarians? Baron, don't come for my head. I tried. But this is super cool. So if we take a look at it, oh man. So we got a window in the corner, we got a nice pit right here. I'm super excited to see what that's gonna have. Okay, this is super cool. So it is an introduction into the Great Crystal Hunt. So guys, better hold on to your butts because that is going to be fantastic. And the fact that it has new design, assets, mechanics, lore, it literally has everything. Crystal Hunt is going to make this game even better than it already is, and will definitely change it from being just a sandbox that's moddable into something that's even more special and better than anything else that has ever been made. And just to let you guys know, it's not for U12 yet, just be patient, it'll be in the full release. And that is the majority of stuff that Baron wanted to show us, just a real quick show for you guys on the roadmap. This is what Cosby posts. We're getting these swimming, breakables, music, animation, outpost, mod manager, potentially, moddable dungeon system, armors and clothes, super excited. 1.0, we have obviously the Crystal Hunt mode with the dungeon coming with that. Buying weapons and armors in the shop, the skills tree, dungeons, loot. There's a ton of stuff that's going to be added. But I know for me personally, I'm still going to make buying weapons and armors and everything that I do completely free. Because honestly, I don't want to have to spend money or spend time trying to unlock everything, so I'm just going to make it easy for everybody. And probably the thing I'm excited most about is a brand new spell that's going to be added to Blade and Sorcery, and the fact that modding will be available on the Quest 2 and Pico. But also, this two-handed weapon support, that is going to be huge. And I know you guys have been waiting for U12 to come out. It says 2022, so my guess it'll be in sometime in December, but it should be before 2023, so stay tuned for that. But I think that's it, guys. So if you guys liked the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. Thanks for watching.